Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Hello guys. Once again, I welcome back you all to InfoZone Lecturette. Hoping that you guys are doing great. I'm very sorry for the delay. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started. So, very particularly in this section, we are going to talk about brain drain. Now, starting as usual, what is brain drain? Now, when you all hear the word first, brain drain, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Maybe like that your brain is being washed away or your brain is being carried away. Yes, exactly. It is the point. Brain drain is the migration of skilled human resources for trade, education, extra, etc. It is a fact that trained professionals are needed in every part of the world, no matter what sector they are in. However, better standards of living and quality of life, higher salaries, access to advanced technology, and more stable political conditions in the developed countries attract talent from the developing nations. The majority of migration is from developing to developed countries. And this is in fact a growing concern worldwide, not only on India's Southeast Asian nations or the South Asian nations, but on the whole world. This particular factor of brain drain is not only hampering the economy of developing nations, but also on the other hand is hampering the systems required for development in these nations. Particularly, the biggest concern of brain drain that arises that these developing nations have invested in the education and training of these young professionals. This translates into a loss of considerable resources when these people direct benefit giving to the recipient states who have not forked out the cost of educating them. The intellectuals of any country are some of the most expensive resources because of their training in terms of material, cost, and time, and most importantly, because of the lost opportunity. Particularly, talking about a fact from 2000s, almost 175 million people, or you can say that 2.9% of the world's population, were living outside their country of birth for more than a year, and out of these, about 65 million people were economically active. Not only in the past, but also in present. Many health professionals, nurses, and physicians have sought employment abroad for many reasons, including high unemployment in their own homeland. Particularly, according to a data released in 1972, about 6% of the world's physicians were located outside their country of origin, and over three quarters were found only in the three nations, that is, USA, UK, and Canada. And this in particular reflected dominance from the Asian nations, including India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. By linking the number of physicians per 10,000 population to GDP of the nation, the countries that produced more physicians than they had the capacity to absorb were identified as India, Egypt, Pakistan, Philippines, and South Korea. Now, more significantly, a question arises that why these trained professionals leave their own homeland and work abroad. So the answer continues like this. The continuing disparity in working conditions between the richer and poorer countries offer a greater pull towards the more developed nations. The role of the government and the recruitment agencies in systematically encouraging the migration of health professionals is increasing the pull. Talking about the health professionals, these migrant health professionals are faced with a combination of economic, social, and psychological factors and family choices, and reflect the push or the pull nature of the choices underpinning these journeys of hope. Demotivating working conditions coupled with low salaries are set against the likelihood of prosperity for those and themselves for their family, work in well equipped offices, and the opportunity for the professional development. In many cases, the developing nations are not only losing its investment in education of professionals, but also the contribution of these workers to the development of the nation. Specifically talking about the healthcare expenditure in India is around 3% of its GDP compared to 13% of GDP of USA. Talking about specifically the ratio of doctor to patients, in India it stands 1 is to 2100 compared to USA where it stands 1 is to 500. Now, specifically, a government survey revealed that as many as 12% scientists and 38% doctors in US are Indians. Specifically, 36% or 4 out of every 10 scientists in NASA are Indians. Further, 34% of the employees at Microsoft, 28% at IBM, and 17% at Intel, and 13% at Xerox, followed by 12% at Google, are Indians. Moreover, a big question arises that how this brain drain can be stopped. The firstly, making a better law. Second thing, better working conditions in India. And the third comes out to be the financial attraction. Now, this particular question can be a group discussion topic for you all guys as well. So, better choose your own point of view and do think over it, particularly not just over one, but over all three, both in terms of pros and cons. And do comment down that which one do you think is the most better one. Particularly, in my point of view, making a better working condition in India can attract and motivate the trained professionals that are working abroad to come back and work for their nation. Also, the youths of the nation will be quite more interested in the development of the nation as well. Human resource is the best resource that a country can have it. And how you use it, it depends on your mind. Particularly, the main factor for the trained professionals working abroad is that you are given credit for what you do. Facilities are excellent. And India, the environment that is full of corruption, inefficiency, the Bijli Pani issues, that drains one out. There is less pay, politics, company promises that are not adhered to, no work culture, and lack of transparency. Even in every state should work for the betterment of its citizen, at least for the civic and the political rights which he is entitled to. Since money is the best motivator, more job opportunity should be provided. Particularly at this very point, you can argue me guys that money cannot satisfy everything. I agree with that. That money is not bound to satisfy every happiness, every single need of a person. It is the motivation, happiness, and the will to do the work that counts. As India is set onto a route to become a 5 trillion economy in the coming years, and also a superpower as determined by most of us in the coming years. So the government, in accordance with that, must set out some basic steps, must set out some basic rules and regulations that could provide a better working conditions to the peoples, to the youth, to the talented professionals. And also, along with that, the creative development, the idea of creative development in the students must be adopted. Money, though a great temper, however, cannot keep the superhuman being cooped up within certain limits forever. They need an unending scope to help their genius bloom to maturity. They need the fulfillment of their God gifted capabilities. It may be that material wealth is also a big allurement, but it forms only a significant part of the fulfillment they need. As the economy grows, the number of Indians going back to India would also increase, and the number of Indians going from India will decrease. India is bound to get back its best and the brightest. Now, here, one more question arises that if these people working abroad, these trained professionals that are working abroad, if they come back to India, the youths in India they are working right over here will be in great trouble. So, particularly for this, the government needs to roll out certain rules, new job opportunities for all, and particularly the idea of creative development and the idea of practical learning should be adopted in the school curriculum as well. Particularly to stop the brain drain from India. It is not that we have to accomplish just the top level. We need to start from the grassroots level. And along with that, we need to cope up with the challenging global challenges as well. It's not going to be an easy road for India and not for the world even too. But certainly, every hardships gives the best result. So guys, that was all in this section of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, and if this video added a bunch of knowledge and creative thinking into your minds. So don't forget to hit that like button and do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also, if you have any doubt or you want a video on any topic, please do comment it down. So with that note, I take it off from you guys. See you in the next video. Till then, stay happy, stay safe, and keep learning and stay motivated. So with that note, I take it off. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.